for the patients to understand. Did I share with you how this came about, this particular form, the patient encounter form and the handout? Well, two things. One was when I did the patient encounter, I think with you, right? When I did the patient encounter with Sarah was training, I forget your first name. I did. When she was being trained, I sat in with the patient. And then when she was done, I then added some things. And so we took everything that we discussed in that whole patient encounter, then I translated all of that information and I put it into a script. And in addition, I then interviewed our accounting department. And I interviewed our accounting department, and here's the question that I asked Jonna. I said, Jonna, and the accounting department, by the way, is who the patients call, right, when they get their EOBs. And so I called her and I said, Jonna, I said, percentage-wise, from negative, neutral to positive, what's the percentage of patient calls that fit in each category? She says, well, that's very easy. It's 99% negative. And I said, why? And then she took me through all the reasons why it was negative. And much of it was they didn't understand their patient responsibility. They didn't know what an EOB was. They didn't know the difference between an EOB and an actual bill. They didn't know that they can call and talk about their patient responsibility. So I interviewed Jonna for literally 40 minutes. And I asked every question I could ask, and she gave me all the feedback. So part of what's in there's 3 parts to that patient encounter. There's what is it, right? What is the test? Why did my doctor order it? And what's my patient responsibility? Okay, so when I was in that patient encounter, okay, in Dr. Taylor's office, I had an unfair advantage. Why? Because I've given probably 10,000 patient encounter reports as a physician myself. And so I knew what they wanted to hear, and so that's what we went through. So what you have access now is with the patient encounter and the patient handout. What that does is it decreases complaints from the patient, increases their understanding. And let me ask you a question. When the patient complains about their EOB, who do you think they complain to? The office. They don't necessarily call the lab and complain. They talk to the office, and that's a big problem. In fact, Dr. Taylor said that one patient was so irate, not our patient, was so irate that not only did they express how irate they were to Dr. Taylor, but they also called the referring physician, their own primary care that referred them to Dr. Taylor and told them how ticked off they were. So I know it seems like a lot to communicate to every patient, but here's what I can tell you. It is an investment. It's an investment in time. And what does everybody want from an investment, whether it's money or another investment? What do you always want from an investment?
A return to it.
Return on investment. So our return on your investment of spending 2 to 4 minutes with the patient is we're going to decrease the complaints by a geometric number. We're going to protect and insulate the office. We're going to educate and equip the patient to understand what they're getting, why they're getting, and how awesome it is that they're getting this test. Okay? And also, an advantage is the patient will tell their friends, family, loved one, neighbors, coworkers the tests that they got. Okay? And so I know that's kind of a little tangent, but I can't express to you how important it is to make sure that they get that data that's on the sheets. Okay?
We also have it in Spanish too, which will be on the next